Hi, welcome back. Thanks for being here. My name is Andy, and today we're going to go through just a really gentle practice and just really finding some compassion and connection here as we just move. So we'll go ahead and get started in child's pose. Option here, if you would like, you can take the bolster and just make it real supportive here, placing the bolster starting at the low belly, and then you can place the right cheek down on the mat around the bolster first, and we'll just kind of start here, just softening through the belly. So kind of just keeping the theme of compassion and connection as we move. So just settling in here, however that resonates with you. We're actually in what is called the Aquarian age, and the motto is be to be. So it's just understanding that, you know, we are something by just simply being. So if you want to take that for just kind of an intention maybe to go with as we move. Just being really kind and gentle with ourselves. And then when you're ready, just go ahead and switch to the other cheek. On an inhale, look forward, just slowly come up off the bolster and just take it over to the side. If you do have a block handy, maybe taking a block and placing it in between the legs. We're just going to come into hero's pose. You can always have a blanket underneath the knees for some support. We're just going to come here for a moment, just kind of settle in. Maybe close down the eyes here or just soften your gaze. Just start to notice the breath. We'll start to take the arms out wide into a T. Let's go ahead and take the right underneath the left, and we're just going to give ourselves a big squeeze. You find a little rock side to side. Just feeling that connection to the body. Just going to take it back out wide. Left underneath right this time. Just some gentle, nice, deep breathing. In and out through the nose. You start having a little constriction at the back of the throat. Maybe tapping into your Ujjayi breathing. I'm going to take the arms back out wide, and then just back to heart center here. We're just going to start to find some warmth. It's a little chilly here today, so warming up through the hands. Let's go ahead and place one hand on the heart, followed by the other. Just find some warmth and connection here. And just know that anytime during the practice that you start to lose the breath or this groundedness, know that you can come into child's pose or any supportive posture. We'll start to flutter the eyes open. Go ahead and come up off the block and we'll place it to the side. Let's go ahead and come over to hands and knees. Go ahead and set it up in our tabletop here, pushing down into all four corners of the hands, pushing down into the fingertips. And then from here, let's just find some circles, okay? So just coming back onto the heels and forward. And then from here, if it feels okay, maybe start to tuck the toes and then go back the opposite way. Just kind of stretching out through the feet. And coming back to center, we'll move through some cat-cow. So on an inhale, let's drop the belly, pull the heart through. And then exhale, round through the upper spine, drop the head. Inhale, broaden through the collarbones, pull the heart through. And then exhale, round. So just oscillating here between your cat-cow. Feel free to add any little movements that you might need, some tail wags. Just your organic movement here. And then we'll meet back in a neutral spine when you're ready. Let's thread the needle, right arm reaches. Exhale, let's thread it through. Coming onto the right shoulder. Left hand can come up overhead. Maybe tippy toe the fingers over to the right, shifting your hips in the same direction. You can always find a bind here if you like, maybe grabbing the inside of the right thigh. Gently placing the left hand back down, we'll make our way back up to our tabletop. Feel free to add any little movements that you might need before we transition into the other side. So left arm reaches, exhale, thread it through. And again, right hand can come up overhead, maybe tippy toe the fingers over to the left, shifting the hips in the same direction. Stay here, maybe you want to find a bind. Head unwind, placing the right hand down onto the mat. We'll come back up to our tabletop, finding any little movement that you might need. Go ahead and grab, if you do have some blocks, we'll kind of utilize these quite a bit so we can stay grounded and close to the ground with some support. So if you do have your blocks, go ahead and just place them. Let's go and take them off the mat though, give ourselves some space here. We'll come into our puppy pose. So taking the knees slightly back, keep the hips up nice and high. We'll take the arms out in front. Okay, start to drop the chest down towards the thighs. And then if it feels okay, maybe start to drop the forehead down. And then inhale, we'll look forward, coming back up to hands and knees. I'm going to take my blanket off my mat for now. Feel free to still use it though if you need it. And from here, let's go ahead and draw back down to our seats. And we're going to come into a little deer pose here. So bending the knees. Maybe if I turn this way, it might be a little easier to see. Okay. And then we're going to grab our blocks. We're going to use our blocks here. So taking our time here, you can stay grounded, or if you'd like, maybe come up onto the shins and then back down. Okay. Then we're going to windshield wiper over to the other side, coming up. That feels okay on the hips. And then we'll take it into the other side once more. You can try without the blocks that round if you'd like. Just warming up through the hips. Take the blocks back over to the top of the mat. Plant the hands. Let's go ahead and step it back into our first downward facing dog. Walk it out. Let's go ahead and take the feet actually way wider towards the edges of your mat. Take a wide-legged downward facing dog. Just noticing how that feels. And we'll start to walk it back in. Big bend into the knees. Getting the hips up a little higher. And then start to draw the heels closer to the mat. Release the head, release the neck, let it go. Awesome. From here, let's start to walk the hands back towards the feet. So we're coming into our ragdoll. So coming into a forward fold here. Drop the head, release the neck. Option to grab opposite elbows here. Maybe find a gentle sway side to side. Let's go ahead and plant the hands. We'll walk it back out. Downward facing dog. Let's take a breath. Inhale, let's look at the top of the mat. We'll step to meet our hands, coming into a forward fold at the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, let's root to rise. Reach it up. Take a nice deep inhale. Exhale, right back into it, forward fold. Let's grab our blocks on the medium side. Let's go ahead and step the right foot back. Coming into a high runner's lunge. So take a moment here, making sure the knee is stacked over the ankle. Okay. Pushing back through the heel, pull the heart through. Okay. Option, you can always lower the right knee down if you need to. Breathing here. When you're ready, start to drop the right knee down. Flipping the blocks on the high side, we'll come into modified half splits. So square off the hips. Flex the left toes. And keep this right leg nice and active too, maybe pushing into the top of the right foot. Awesome. So go ahead and slide this right leg behind, and we're just going to take it on back. Coming into Ardha Matsyendrasana. So taking the left foot over the right, sitting up nice and tall. Right arm reaches, and then exhale, let's twist. Slowly unwind. We'll take our blocks with us. So we make our way to the top of the mat. Go ahead and step it on up to the top. Our forward fold is where we'll meet. Inhale, root to rise, reach it up. Exhale, swan dive forward, let it go. Grab the blocks. Left foot steps back this time, coming into our high runner's lunge. So we're gonna keep the practice kind of low, keep grounding down. Just kind of finding ways to create some more energy and bring it back into the body. Breathing. Pull the heart. Can you try to scissor the inner thighs together? Create some energy there. And then we'll start to drop the left knee down. Start to straighten out the right leg coming into half splits. Again, squaring off the hips, flexing the toes. Keep a little micro bend in this right knee. When you're ready, we're going to start to sit it back for Ardha Matsyendrasana. So tucking the left foot behind the right glute, and then right leg crosses over the left. Okay, so just a little twist here, taking the elbow to the outside of the knee. On your inhale, try to lengthen up out of the low back. Exhale, twist. Slowly start to unwind. Taking our blocks, we'll make our way back up to the top of the mat. In a forward fold, let it go. Option here if you'd like to find a bind, maybe peace finger the big toes. Inhale, lengthen, and then exhale, fold. Awesome. I'm just going to take those blocks. And we'll just take them to the top of the mat, or off of the mat. Give ourselves some space here as we plank the hands. Let's step it back into our plank pose. Okay, option to drop it down to the knees. We're going to lower down to the right forearm and the left forearm. Always have the option to come here, lower the knees. Try and make every part of your body work for you, work with you. So pushing down into the forearms, into the hands. Push back through the heels. The gaze can come in between the thumbs. Breathing. Back to that connection of self here. Got everything engaged. Low belly, legs, arms. You got it, just a couple more breaths. Shaking's good, shaking's part of it. We'll drop down to the knees. And we'll go ahead and take child's pose. Maybe you take child's pose with the knees together, reach back towards the ankles. Or you can always take knees wide if that's more comfortable. Just connecting back to the breath. We'll take a few breaths here in child's pose. Just kind of noticing how you feel after some movement. Maybe connecting back to your Ujjayi breath, creating just a small constriction in the back of the throat, making it an audible breath. On an inhale, let's look forward. We'll plant the hands, curl the toes, downward facing dog. Let's take a breath. Right leg flies, let's take it all the way through. We're gonna come into pyramid pose. So again, if you'd like to use your blocks, go ahead and grab them. Okay, so a little micro bend in that right foot. Left toes are pointing towards the left corner of your mat. Okay, now options stay here, folding over the leg, or coming onto the blocks. If that's still too much, maybe just hands to the hips. Okay, so lots of options here. Just taking what you need, grounding down through the feet. Awesome. From here, we'll find warrior three. So big bend into the left knee. Maybe just grabbing one block, taking it to the top of the mat, and then extending the left leg up. One more breath here. Exhale, let's step it to the top of the mat, and we'll find our forward fold. Let it go. Let's root to rise. Taking both blocks to the top of the mat. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, let it go. Shake it up. So moving our blocks, still in arm's reach, but just towards the top of the mat. And then from here, let's inhale, reach up overhead, and then exhale over to the right. Just finding some space in the left side body. Back to center, inhale, length, over to the left. Awesome. Let's go ahead and draw the arms out to the sides. Right is underneath the left. And just coming into that big bear squeeze again. Awesome. Option to stay there, or maybe taking the hands, the backs of the hands together, or maybe you can find connection here with the palms together. So coming into eagle arms, okay? Option to stay here. If you like, maybe come into eagle legs, crossing the legs over, maybe finding connection with the toes behind the calf. Engaging the belly, allowing your core to help stabilize you here. Feeling the connection, breathing. Slowly start to unwind with the legs first. Let go of the arms, release, let it go. Beautiful. Let's go ahead, inhale, top of the mat, reach it up. Exhale, let it go. Forward fold, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Let's plant the hands, let's step it back into our plank pose. Awesome. From here, let's go ahead and drop down to the right forearm and the left forearm. Hips go high, let's walk the feet in for dolphin pose. Again, the gaze can come in between the thumbs. Breathing here. Option, you can take plank. Option to drop down to the knees. Wherever you're at, just breathing, connecting to the breath. One more breath here. And on an exhale, let's drop it down. Your variation of child's pose here. When you feel ready, go ahead, we'll take those blocks, place them back onto the mat, maybe on the high side or the medium side. We'll meet in downward facing dog when you're ready. Inhale, we'll look at the top of the mat and we'll step to meet our hands. Coming into our forward fold, let it go. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Awesome. We're going to step the right foot back, coming into pyramid pose. So again, if you're using your blocks, go ahead and grab those. Set it up. Square the hips off towards the top of your mat. You got options. Of course, blocks here. You can also come to hands on the hips. Just imagining you have a line of energy coming out through the crown of your head. Pull the heart through. When you're ready, we'll move into Warrior 3. We'll be taking one block to the top of the mat, using it for a little support system here. Toes are pointing down at the mat. We're trying to get the leg hip level, doesn't have to be there today. Nice and strong in the left leg. Step it to the top of the mat. Find your forward fold, let it go. And then we'll root to rise all the way up. Exhale, hands back to heart center. We'll take the arms wide. Left is underneath the right this time. And again, you can just come into that nice bear hug, squeeze, feel the connection. Feel the compassion. And then maybe backs of the hands, maybe the hands meet. Okay. Awesome. And then from here, we'll go ahead, if you'd like to add your eagle legs, left leg lifts, and then we'll wrap it around. And it might not wrap all the way, that's okay. Just find what works for you. Breathing. Slowly start to unwind. Shake it out. Let it go. And we'll meet at the top of the mat. Let's inhale, reach it up. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward. Awesome. From here, let's go ahead and step it back into our plank pose. We'll drop down to the knees, and then we'll all meet on our bellies. Go ahead and grab a block. Grabbing it widthwise. And then when you're ready, we'll come into variation of Shavasana. So connecting the belly and the hips to the ground. On an inhale, we're going to start to draw the chest, the arms, and the legs off the mat. So we're putting quite a bit of pressure on the diaphragm here. So just connecting to the breath, remembering to breathe. On an exhale, let's draw the right cheek down, let it go. Just taking a few moments here. Feeling the whole weight of the body on the mat. Let's do one more round. When you're ready, let's draw the head back to center, raising the chest, the arms, and the legs. Finding the breath. You got it in you. Just a couple more breaths here. Find the strength. And on an exhale, we'll draw the left cheek down this time. Just let it go. Let's go ahead and take the elbows wide. We'll stack the hands, drawing the forehead down. Let's bend into the knees. And just find a little windshield wiper, just kind of side to side. Go ahead and release. And we'll come into a shoulder stretch. So let's extend the arms out into a T. So the arms are coming just straight out from the shoulders. Okay, palms are planted down. And then when you're ready, we'll take the left hand underneath the left shoulder. Bend into the left leg. And then we'll roll over to the right hip. Okay, so left toes can find the ground. And then your knee can either come more towards the midline, or you can take it out. And just finding where you feel a little bit of a stretch here. Remember, no pain. This doesn't feel right, doesn't feel good. You've got shoulder issues. Always listening to our bodies. Go ahead and release. Just take a moment back in your crocodile pose. Just find a little transition, a little release. We'll take it into the other side. So extending the left arm out this time. Right hand underneath the right shoulder. Bending into the right leg. Rolling over to the left hip. Let's bring it back to center. And we'll push it back into hero's pose. Just taking a moment here, just kind of noticing how you're feeling. And then when you're ready, we're going to come into rabbit pose. So it's going to be a bit of pressure here on the top of the head. And just so you're aware, that's where we want to be, is here at the very crown of the head. So we're going to take the arms back behind and lace the fingers, okay? So you're going to come onto your forehead to start, and then as we draw the arms up and over, you'll roll to the crown of the head. So drawing the forehead down here, it's coming into like a little tight little ball, okay? And then when you're ready, we'll start to bring the hips up, followed by the hands and the arms. Feeling the connection to the earth. Slowly release, coming back down to the forehead, releasing the arms down to the low back, and then just making your way back up, nice and slow. Don't want to get too much of a head rush, just go ahead and take your time, maybe roll that out. We'll take the hands back behind once more, interlace the fingers, and let's just draw the hands over to the right, and then we'll look over to the left. It's a little counter stretch for the neck. Bring it back to center, take a little pause, hands over to the left, and then we'll look over to the right. And then back to center, go ahead and release, and we'll grab one block. And from here, we will take our block, and we're just going to slowly come onto our backs. Reaching the block up overhead. Okay, and then we're just going to find this little movement here through our bridge pose. Okay, so on an inhale, we're going to push into the heels, lift up through the hips, and then draw the block overhead. And then exhale, back overhead, arms are long. And just continuing with this. You can always lose the block if this isn't serving you. Just adding a little connection here. Just connecting your breath with your movement. Beautiful. Just two more wherever you're at. Take your time. Go ahead and release the block. Draw the arms back down by the sides. And then from here, let's go ahead and take the feet just slightly wider than the hips. And we'll just find a gentle windshield wiper, just kind of side to side, massaging the low back. Let's walk the feet back in. And from here, we'll draw the knees into the chest. And let's just find a gentle rock side to side. Maybe taking the knees in a circular motion, going one way, and then the opposite way. Let's keep the right knee in. Let's extend the left leg back out. And just take a moment, we're just hugging the knee into the chest. Maybe taking the knee out towards the right armpit for a little half happy baby. And then back to center. And we'll turn this into a twist. So taking the knee across the body, cactusing out the right arm, we'll twist, gaze comes to the right. Inhale back to center, hugging both knees back into the chest. Find a little rock side to side. And keep the left knee in, extend the right leg back out. And just pause here, hugging the knee in. And then taking the knee out to the side, just coming into a gentle half happy baby. And then back to center. And then turning us into a twist. Gaze over to the left. And then back to center. Hugging the knees in, find a gentle rock side to side. Hugging the knees into the chest, giving yourself a little squeeze. Thanking your body for all of its hard work. And when you're ready, if there's anything else that you'd like to add in at the end of your practice, feel free. But if you are ready to find final Shavasana, extending the legs out towards the corners of the mat. You can always use a blanket or support where you need it. And just allowing yourself to get as comfortable as you can. Just letting go of the practice, letting go of the breath. Start to relax the body, starting with the point in between the brows. Relaxing the cheeks, the jaw, creating some space in between the teeth. Relaxing the throat, relaxing the neck, softening through the shoulders, through the arms, the wrists, the palms of the hands, and tips of the fingers. Softening through the belly, softening through the pelvis, softening through the legs, the knees, the ankles, soles of the feet, all the way down to the tips of the toes. as always, if you have time to lie here and find Shavasana for another 5 or 10 minutes, I invite you to do so, but we'll start to make our way up to a comfortable seat to close out the practice. Leave you here. It's been my pleasure. The light within me sees and honors the light within each of you. Namaste.